New podcast is out now. Make sure you tap the card to hear it or else click the link at the end of the video. Yes, 21 Pilots, I was still sleeping. What's up everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. Yes, it is finally time to review new 21 Pilots music. They finally dropped some stuff. They've been cryptic for a while now, but they have two new songs in the form of Nico and the Niners and the more, I guess, single of the two, the one that got the music video, Jumpsuit. These, of course, are something that I had to listen to many times because if I don't get the meaning of the song or if I don't understand them, I know the fan base won't be so forgiving. And I made that mistake the last time around with the lead single from Blurry Face, Fairly Local, so I won't make that mistake again. The impact of 21 Pilots on the music industry has been immense and also intense, due in part, I think, a lot to their fan base, the clique as they're labeled. It's a very rabid and always growing fan base that really haven't cooled off at all after Blurry Face. That was the album that went to #1, took over the charts, had a couple of Hot 100 top 20 singles. It was something that was very unexpected, but at the same time, I was happy because I like 21 Pilots' music. And while it's been difficult to balance my really disdain for the fan base, I think overall, at least the hardcores, it's also been something where it's like, it's popular, it's trendy to hate 21 Pilots, so I never wanted to be the guy that jumps on them for that. They can't control the fans, and at the same time, I also feel like they do a bit of fan service, but still. They've crafted and created this entire world, and I think that it is, for a lot of fans, an escape, something to get away from the darkness of life, and it helps them, so who am I to judge, right? Anyways, that's not what we're here for today. We're gonna talk about the two brand new songs, Jumpsuit and Nico and the Niners, give full-on reviews to both of those, and at the end of the video, I will release scores for both of the tracks. And of course, if you want a deeper explanation, I might not be the best guy to go to. Look into it on your own. Look up the meanings if you're super curious. I know the hardcore fans are going to be picking it apart, looking for clues about bishops, about DEMA, about the jumpsuits, about hiding in yellow, everything like that. We'll get into it a little bit, but just saying I might only be scraping the surface. But like I said, let's start off with Jumpsuit. Jumpsuit was very unexpected for me. I didn't expect them to go with such a brash, bold bass line and heavy drumming from Josh Dun, but honestly, I love this twist. I expected them, and I think my initial predictions were to go darker and more electronic. I knew that whatever they did, they would probably lean towards something maybe a little bit more less mainstream friendly, and I feel like in a way they've definitely done that with the lead single here, the primary single I should say, Jumpsuit. This is a track that encompasses some of the things that I do love about TOP's music, but still, I think that there are also other elements at play here. I'm hearing everything vocally, like in the slower part, the breakdown of the track, to Snow Patrol, and then in the heavier elements, I'm hearing influences of maybe Muse, and a little bit in the bass and guitar, I don't know why I'm picking this up, but Band of Horses. There's definitely outside influences at play musically, and lyrically, it definitely delves into more of the world of what's at stake here on their new album Trench that's due out in October. Now, I think this is going to be a very interesting record. It will, of course, be a concept album once again, and it seems like the character of Clancy is going to be something that I think that 21 Pilots are diving into head on. Tyler Joseph is somebody who can create a world and makes it a very visceral experience for fans, and in the music video, you definitely see a lot of this coming to life with the cloaks, the ending of the Blurry Face era, and the Heavy Dirty Soul music video, The Car on Fire. There's a lot of clues that are being left, and there were a lot of clues at the end of the last era that not even a lot of fans knew about until they started coming back. I honestly really like Joseph's voice on Jumpsuit. It's something where he feels a little bit calmer and more restrained when compared to the heavy instrumentation that opens up the song and unleashes during the chorus. Jumpsuit, jumpsuit, cover me is essentially what is being said. That's the refrain here, and that's the hook that keeps driving the song. It's interesting because I think to a lot of people it might sound silly just if you were hearing this song on the radio. Not that I'm thinking that it will get radio play outside of alternative stations, but that's yet yet to be determined. We'll see if this crosses over to the mainstream. There's something that I really didn't expect towards the end of the track, and I've known that Tyler Joseph can obviously scream. He's done it in amazing ways, but in short samples, like on car radio. But here, at the end of Jumpsuit, I honestly dropped my jaw a little bit because of how good the screaming sounded. It's not just, oh, he screamed on a track and it's edgy, or he screamed on a track just for the sake of screaming or being different. No, it actually feels like an intense buildup of both emotion, where he's feeling mentally, battling demons, and also his own place in the music industry. On both of these tracks, I think that there's some not so subtle references to them blowing up, really taking off. I think more so on Nico and the Niners, but still, it's felt on Jumpsuit. Categorizing this song is a little bit easier, I would say, than some other 21 Pilots stuff in the past, because they've been known to mesh everything from indie-tronica, folk, rock, alternative, but this track, it honestly puts its foot forward as a rock song. There's other elements at stake and at play here. There's a little bit of a synthetic touch here and there, and also some vocal effects that are placed on Joseph's voice, but it's nothing that's really all that distracting, and it's nothing that keeps me from getting into the track. So hands down, definitely my favorite of the two singles, but it's honestly kind of close. The more that I played these tracks as I sat there and cycled over and over again, it's kind of close. But like I said, I'll give out ratings at the end, so moving right along to the next song. Nico and the Niners is a title that might not make sense right at first sight. It's something that was actually leaked a little while ago. They were briefly registered, they showed up online, and of course the fandom found them. It was very quick, and the titles Nico and the Niners and of course Jumpsuit were leaked online. There was a lot of stuff that was talking about DEMA, there was a whole website, there was a link to it on the 21 Pilots website, and the whole Clancy and the letter and everything, and I think that Nico and the Niners is a little bit more of a deep cut, and they released that one to just give fans more of a taste of the world and what's at stake this time around. And on Nico and the Niners, it seems to refer to somebody that's a bishop in DEMA, Nico of course, and the other 9 people, 10 I guess total, and what exactly they're doing, and the jumpsuit that was referenced on the other track, them being in yellow, basically hides them. It cloaks them from the watchers. And it honestly gets a little bit hard to wrap your head around if you're trying to understand all of the lore. It's like people who listen to Gorillaz and understand really everything and maybe underanalyze if you're just a casual fan, and then the hardcores will come after you like, oh, you don't understand this or this or this. I understand. It can be overwhelming, and I understand why you might just want to listen to the music, but I'm just trying to explain for everybody who might be wondering and is looking for a deeper meaning in the track. Since I already spoiled it, you probably already know, yes, I do like this song Nico and the Niners. I didn't care for it as much on first listen or two, but after I started really just replaying it over and over, there were other elements that opened up to me, and I started to progress in my feelings of, I suppose, love or at least extreme like for the song. It feels like it fits a little bit more in line with 21 Pilots' back discography, and not that exactly it needs to, it's just that it feels like it's more at home. We actually get some rapping from Tyler Joseph, which we did not get on Jumpsuit, but that's excused for the scream. The scream is great. Nico and the Niners starts off with some backwards vocals, which I won't spoil for you in this video, but you can go look those up to see exactly what it means, and it does tie into the overall lore of what's going on with Clancy and everything with the Watchers, DEMA, everything like that. So look it up on Genius if you haven't already understood what he's saying. It's backwards. Rooted with an acoustic guitar and a nice driving drum melody, I would say that this is still kind of a up-tempo, not high octane, but still up-tempo track. I was kind of expecting when I saw that there were 2 songs for one to be a little bit faster, a little bit more pop friendly, and the other to be very dark. And while there are dark elements to this in the way that they talk about razor blades, the imagery that's used, and the way that they talk about their fans and their place in the music industry and how they blew up so fast, I wouldn't say that musically it sounds all that dark. The song almost has a bit of sardonic wit to it. I like the chorus and the way that he sounds a bit melancholic with his vocal approach here. I'm heavy, my jumpsuit is unsteady. It's just a nice rhythm. It's kind of up and down the scales, but not in a monotonous way, not in a predictable way, and the way that the song flows overall is just downright enjoyable. The second verse is rapped, and that's exactly what I was missing. I was waiting for this. I liked Jumpsuit the first time that I heard it, but I was wondering if he was ever going to break into a rap, and then we finally got it in the form of the release on the second verse. And there's a line that I really found very interesting in particular, and that's when he says, "Maybe from all the money we made, razor blade stores, rent a racehorse, and force a sponsor." This basically seems to allude to the fact that people talk about 21 Pilots, them being dark, them encouraging and egging on their emo fan base to get worse when they actually take mental health very seriously, and they would never encourage their fans to do anything dark or something very bad to themselves. They are just advocating for mental health in general, I feel like, and they talk about their own experiences, more specifically Tyler Joseph's, of course, and his dark mind, and I think that it does help a lot of people, despite the fact that it can get cringy at times, and that the fan base can get really cringy. Still, I have to go out on a limb and say that's a defense. I need to defend them on that. Once again, a very hooky song. It has a bounce and almost a little bit of like a reggae tendency in it. They've experimented with that before, but I think it's in a different way on Nico and the Niners. And overall, once again, a very good song. Maybe not quite as good as Jumpsuit, but still, if this is a deep cut, then I'm excited to see what Trench holds. You've made it to the end of the video, so yes, it is rating time. I'm going to go ahead and give out ratings for Jumpsuit and Nico and the Niners. Starting with Jumpsuit, of course, I did love that song. I think that the bass line and the drumming was fantastic there. Just an explosive fuse that was lit, and the way that the screams cap everything off, I'm also very interested. The end of the song has a little bit of an instrumental that like seems like it's going to fade into another track. I know this is going to be a concept record, but I think that all these songs might flow into each other, and if so, then that's awesome. But for Jumpsuit, I'm gonna have to say strong 4.5 out of 5. Loving this song. And as far as Nico and the Niners goes, that one's getting a strong 4. I like both tracks. I love one of them, really like the other, so yeah, I'm excited. I definitely got my predictions for new 21 Pilots music and what it would sound like all wrong. Like I said, I thought it would be darker, I thought it would be more electronic, but I am very pleased to say that they've gone in a little bit more of a rock direction and kind of stayed true to themselves with using actual drums. I thought it was gonna sound processed. I don't know why, but I've just seen so many bands this year just ditching their actual instruments, and it's nice to see somebody so big and so popular actually just going for it. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on both of these songs in the comment section down below. I know that you have strong thoughts and opinions, so go ahead, start typing comments right now. Let me know Nico and the Niners or Jumpsuit. Which is your favorite, and what do you think of both songs? Please drop a like on the video while you're here. Don't forget to check out my top 10 21 Pilots songs over on the main channel. There will be an annotation for it at the end of the video in just a second. If you're able to support me on Patreon and help both of the channels, then click the top link down below. A direct link for my Patreon is right over here in the corner of the screen, so tap there if you'd like to help support. If you want to see that podcast that I shouted out at the beginning of the video, then tap right over here, or see my top 10 favorite 21 Pilots songs right over here. All of my social media accounts, including Twitch, can be found linked in the description down below, and other than that, I'll see you soon for more right here on Beyond ARTV.